Nobody expected Cristiano Ronaldo to win the 2026 World Cup. At 39 years old, most people believed that dream had already disappeared years ago. But nobody expected it to end like this either. One final tournament, one final chance, one final walk onto football's biggest stage. Then, 90 minutes later, it was over. No farewell trophy, no fairy tale ending, no last miracle. Just the sight of the greatest goalscorer football has ever seen walking away from the World Cup forever. For over 2 decades, Cristiano Ronaldo had made the impossible look routine. 5 Ballon d'Or trophies, more than 900 career goals, league titles across England, Spain, and Italy, European championships, Nations League titles, Champions League history rewritten. Yet there was always one prize that escaped him, the FIFA World Cup, the one trophy that defines football immortality, the one trophy that turned Pelé, Maradona, Zidane, and Messi into legends beyond statistics. Ronaldo arrived in North America knowing something nobody else wanted to admit. This was his last chance. There would be no 7th World Cup, no 4 years later, no final comeback. This wasn't just another tournament. It was the closing chapter of one of football's greatest careers. When Portugal announced their World Cup squad, questions immediately followed. Could Ronaldo still start at the highest level? Was his experience more valuable than younger legs? Had football finally caught up with one of its greatest athletes? But Ronaldo had heard those questions before. People said he was finished after leaving Real Madrid. They said it when he left Manchester United. They said it before the European Championship. Somehow, he always found another answer. And once again, Portugal believed he still had one more chapter left to write. The squad around him looked capable of doing something special. Bruno Fernandes was creating chances at an elite level. Bernardo Silva remained one of the smartest midfielders in world football. Rafael Leal brought pace and unpredictability. João Neves represented the next generation. Ruben Dias continued to lead the defense. On paper, Portugal had one of the strongest squads in the tournament. Many analysts believed they finally had the balance they had lacked in previous World Cups. Experience mixed with youth, creativity mixed with discipline. If Ronaldo couldn't carry Portugal anymore, maybe Portugal could finally carry Ronaldo. The tournament itself began with cautious optimism. Portugal weren't playing spectacular football, but they were winning. Ronaldo no longer dominated games the way he once had, but his influence could still be felt. Every touch inside the penalty area forced defenders to panic. Every movement attracted attention. And then came another piece of history. Ronaldo found the back of the net once again, becoming the first player in football history to score in 6 different FIFA World Cups. Think about that for a second. 6 World Cups, 24 years between his first appearance and his last goal. Entire football careers had started and ended while Ronaldo kept finding ways to score on the biggest stage. Records had become so normal that many fans barely reacted anymore. But this one felt different. It wasn't just another number. It was proof that one of football's greatest careers had stretched across generations. From playing alongside Luis Figo in 2006 to sharing the pitch with players who grew up idolizing him, Ronaldo had somehow stayed relevant through it all. Yet beneath the celebrations, there was another reality quietly unfolding. Portugal were progressing, but they weren't convincing. They controlled possession without always creating chances. They looked organized without looking unstoppable. The deeper they advanced, the stronger the opposition became. And history offered an uncomfortable reminder. Since winning Euro 2016, Portugal had repeatedly entered major tournaments with enormous expectations, only to fall short when the pressure became unbearable. The World Cup has always been different. Every mistake feels permanent. Every missed opportunity lives forever. Ronaldo knew that better than anyone. He had experienced quarterfinal heartbreaks, semi-final disappointments, round of 16 exits, tears, triumphs, redemption, but never the one ending he wanted most. As the knockout stage arrived, football stopped caring about reputation. The World Cup always does. It doesn't remember your Ballon d'Or trophies. It doesn't care how many Champions Leagues you've won. It only asks one question: can you survive today? Portugal's answer came against Spain. 2 neighboring nations, 2 footballing rivals, 2 completely different philosophies. Spain wanted control. Portugal wanted moments. For long stretches of the match, neither side could find a breakthrough. Ronaldo fought for every loose ball. He pressed. He demanded possession. Every time he entered the penalty area, the stadium held its breath, hoping one last piece of magic might appear. But football doesn't always reward the stories we want to see. And sometimes, the cruelest endings arrive without warning. For almost 90 minutes, Portugal held on. Every clearance mattered. Every tackle felt enormous. Spain dominated possession, but Portugal refused to break. Then, with extra time seemingly inevitable, everything changed. In the dying moments of the match, Merino found the breakthrough that Portugal had spent the entire evening trying to prevent. One goal, one mistake, one moment that ended an era. Just like that, Portugal's World Cup dream was over. Spain celebrated. Portugal stood frozen. And Cristiano Ronaldo knew before anyone else what that whistle truly meant. This wasn't just another tournament defeat. This wasn't another painful exit he could recover from 4 years later. This was the end of his World Cup story. There was no dramatic speech in the center circle. No grand farewell organized by FIFA. Just the quiet image of a man walking away from football's biggest stage for the final time. It was strangely fitting. Throughout his career, Ronaldo had always answered criticism on the pitch. He rarely allowed emotions to speak louder than football itself. But this time there was nothing left to prove. Days earlier, he had already confirmed that this would be his final FIFA World Cup.
Disfrutar al máximo posible, que sea el último mundial, que va a ser mi último mundial, y disfrutar día a día. Ojalá que no sea mañana mi último partido. Ojalá. Así vosotros me pueden matar un poco más. Tentar matar.
Win or lose, this chapter was always going to close. Nobody imagined it would close this painfully. When the final whistle echoed around the stadium, it wasn't only Portugal who had been eliminated. An entire generation of football fans realized something they had been trying to ignore. For the first time in more than 20 years, there will be a World Cup without Cristiano Ronaldo. Think about how extraordinary that really is. His first World Cup came in Germany in 2006. Since then, managers have come and gone. Stadiums have been rebuilt. Entire footballing generations have retired. Young players who once asked Ronaldo for photographs are now captains leading their own nations. Yet somehow, he was always there. Every 4 years, every World Cup, every headline, every expectation. His record alone is almost impossible to comprehend. He became the first player in history to score in 6 different FIFA World Cups, a record that may never be broken. More than 900 career goals, more international goals than anyone who has ever played the game. Countless trophies, countless records, countless unforgettable moments. But there will always be one statistic that sparks debate: 0 World Cups. And perhaps that is what makes Ronaldo's story so fascinating. Football has always taught us that greatness isn't guaranteed by trophies alone. The World Cup is football's most unpredictable competition. Some of the greatest players in history never won it. Johan Cruyff never lifted it. Ferenc Puskás never lifted it. George Best never even played in one. Paolo Maldini never won it. History remembers them anyway, not because of one tournament, but because they changed football forever. Ronaldo belongs in that conversation. The World Cup did not define him. It simply became the one mountain even he couldn't climb. It is easy to forget just how much pressure followed him into every tournament. Every missed chance became front-page news. Every defeat became another chapter in the endless debate. Every World Cup carried the expectation that Ronaldo somehow had to complete football all over again. Very few athletes in sporting history have lived under that kind of scrutiny for 2 decades. Yet somehow, he kept coming back. He kept scoring. He kept believing. Until there were simply no more tournaments left to chase. Maybe that is why this ending feels different. It isn't sadness because Ronaldo failed. It is sadness because time finally won. For years, football fans joked that Ronaldo would never grow old, that he would somehow play forever. But no athlete beats time, not even Cristiano Ronaldo. Eventually, every sprint becomes a little slower. Every recovery takes a little longer. Every final chapter arrives whether you're ready or not. And perhaps the greatest lesson from Ronaldo's final World Cup isn't about trophies at all. It is about longevity, about obsession, about refusing to accept limits, about pushing the human body further than anyone believed possible. Millions of children started playing football because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Millions learned what discipline looked like because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Millions shouted "shoo" in playgrounds, on streets, and inside stadiums around the world. You cannot measure that with medals. 20 years ago, a skinny teenager wearing Portugal's number 17 stepped onto a World Cup pitch believing he could conquer football. 20 years later, one of the greatest players the sport has ever seen walked away from that same competition for the last time. He never lifted the trophy he wanted most. But maybe that isn't the story people will remember. Maybe they'll remember the goals, the records, the impossible standards, the relentless belief. And maybe, years from now, when another young footballer dreams of becoming the next Cristiano Ronaldo, they'll prove something even bigger than a World Cup ever could. Some players don't become immortal because they won everything. Some become immortal because they changed football forever. And whether you loved him, doubted him, or argued about him until the very end, one thing is certain: the World Cup will go on. Football will move forward, but it will never quite feel the same without Cristiano Ronaldo.